Hello, hello. I am Shalita Marshall, your divorce coach. And tonight I want to talk to you about secrets you should know to protect your credit during divorce. I know that is hard imagining you going through a divorce right now during this time, especially with the person that you loved and once had close ties to. But sometimes relationships just don't work out. You have no other choice but to seek a divorce. Sometimes you're just forced into that situation. Breakups and marriages could have a damaging effect on your credit if you do not take the appropriate measures or actions to protect it. So, I just want to share with you some tips that you can use to safeguard your credit during divorce because when I went through my divorce, my credit was shot. I couldn't do anything with my credit. I couldn't even go buy a brown paper bag if I could. That's just how bad and low that my credit score had gotten over the years while being married. So the first thing people ask is, what do I do about bills during a divorce? So before you get a divorce, you can sit down together and pull you guys' credit report. Check your reports for any joint accounts or authorized users. I know most of the time, while you're married, you will put each other on each other's counts, to help each other score out or to get a higher balance or, just things of that nature because you're married. So it's like, you wouldn't think anything else of it. So just getting a report, checking your statuses to just see where you are and see what things that you can do to go ahead and take the appropriate measures to set yourself up so that you can check and see if your spouse's information is merged on the accounts with yours. Sometimes by having the same last name or same first initial, uh, credits do get messed up or mixed up per se. So you just want to go and very in depth with checking your report to make sure that what's yours is yours and what's his is his, so that there will be no misunderstanding after divorce. So if you guys are authorized users on accounts, you can dispute those with the credit bureaus and ask them to separate them. Or if it's accounts that you just don't want to have anymore, you can ask them to close the account so that way you won't have no responsibility of that account at all. So after you do all that, pulling your report, getting those things in order, making sure that the accounts are yours, 3 months after the divorce is final, you can check your report again to make sure that all your spouse's information is removed off your account so that you can also check and see that they didn't add any new accounts to your credit report because you will have the one that you pulled beforehand and then the one that you pull afterwards. So if you do find any new items on there, you can dispute them because you have the proof of one, having your credit report beforehand, two, having your credit report afterwards, and you will have the divorce decree showing that you are no longer together. So that account does not belong to you. So you can handle that in different type ways. You can do it as identity theft. You can put a fraud alert on your account, and you can freeze your credit report so that nothing new will be added. I know for some it could be 5 years, 10 years. I know for me, I did put a fraud alert on my account because I just wanted to make sure that nothing new got added because the person had all my information. So you just want to be very careful if you are the one that's having to start all over. So you're going to make sure that you are straight and have all your ducks in a row so that you are set up for when the divorce is over. And that way, you even during the divorce, you can start working on your credit if you need to. That way, if your score is low and you know that you may have to move or something like that or get a car, you can already be working on your credit to get it built up to where when you are divorced, you are able to go out there and get something for yourself and your family if you have kids. So if you have any credit cards, I would just call the credit card companies and let them know that you want to pay the cards off and close the accounts due to circumstantial events. So That way you can let them know, like, hey, my husband and I separated, my wife and I separated, and I need to get these accounts closed to just make sure that I'm in good standing with you. And the same thing, if they are authorized user, you can easily take them off because that card is in your name. So you can have them removed, and they will honor that. Especially if you do it after the divorce, you will have the paperwork to send in to show that we are no longer together. So I do not want that person on my account anymore. So if you are unsure or if you want to wait, you can have the companies just freeze those accounts as well. And they will put a freeze on them so that nothing additional gets added. Or I've heard of people maxing out the other person's credit card, before the divorce happens. So just to make sure that you are protected, you can always contact them and ask them 50 million questions if you need to, or like I said, pay them off and close them, or freeze them so that you are able to take the other spouse off and start back using the cards after the divorce. And also, you can do a follow up letter with them. Just sending in a letter reiterating that you want to close the account or you want to freeze the account until XYZ, or until your divorce is final, so that you are able to make sure that you are straight. And after you send in the letter, just check back with them 30 days later to see if the accounts have been closed or if the accounts have been frozen. So once again, so that you can make sure that you are protected, because nobody's going to protect their stuff like you. So when you're going through a divorce, it can get tricky, it can get ugly, and you just don't want to be that person that's, left to hold with all the debt. So like I said, once the divorce is over, you can send the creditors a copy of the divorce decree, and that way it just shows that, hey, this person and I are no longer married, so I shouldn't have this debt, or either these accounts should have been closed, and or this person should have been taken off these accounts months ago because I have sent in the appropriate paperwork to show you guys that. If you have a checking and a savings account together, you should split whatever's left in your accounts, your joint accounts, and close them. You do not want to keep an account with a person all the way up until divorce, because, like I said earlier, things may not go well. It may be some fighting, it may be one person using the money to get them set up, or just being reckless with the money, just anything. So you just want to make sure that your name and your money is not tied to anything. So just making sure that if you guys' name is on both, close that account and get your own separate account. It is okay to do that at that moment, because it's not like you're trying to hide money or steal money or anything like that. You're just making sure that you are protected at the end of the day. Because if you are stuck with those overdraft fees, then guess what? You're going to be responsible for those fees no matter what, because your name was still tied to those accounts. So the next thing is, if you do not have any kids together, you can sell the house and split that money for the proceeds that you have, so that you can go your own way and he can go his own way. And that way you can get yourself set up with a house, a car, or apartment, or just whatever it is that you may decide to get at that moment. But if you have kids together and you decide to stay in the house, you still want to make sure that the name, the house is in your name, or the deed is in your name, or you can try to refinance the house to make sure that the name is set up. I mean, that the house is set up in your name, so that it just won't be the other spouse's name on it. Because then at any time they can say, "Hey, I want this person out of the house," and you can be removed from the house. So you definitely don't want to be in that type of situation. So just try to make sure that the house is in your name, that you get the house refinanced in your name, and that you ask the mortgage company to um, send the bills to you, or directly to you, whether it's email, text, just anything of that nature, so that you know what is being paid and how it's being paid and when the due date is and exactly how much. much the mortgage is, because a lot of times we don't even know how much the mortgage is, or even where does the mortgage go. So I say make sure you know all the information if you are staying in the house. And another important thing is to do not sign a quiet claim deed or let them remove your name from the title, because you will lose ownership of that house, and you will be responsible for paying that loan off if you have allowed them to take their name off of it. So you want to make sure that just all the paperwork is in order, and if everything is left in your name, that that's how you want it to be, and that you are able to make the mortgage payment every month. So going through a separation with the one you love is not fun, but with the proper education on how to protect your credit during this stage, you will proceed with great results. I'm not saying that it's easy. I'm not saying it's a cakewalk, but you do just need someone helping you and guiding you along the way during that process, because it can get tough at the end of the day. So, if you want to learn more about how to protect your credit and become financially stable after divorce, then sign up for my 6 week coaching program at shalithamarshall.com. Until next time, Coach Shalitha.